Hello everybody! Today for sensory we are going to make Play-Dough. And it does have to cook a little bit, so it's a little bit of sensory and a little bit of cooking. Okay, so what you're going to need for that, you're going to need some flour, some vegetable oil, some salt, some water, cream of tartar, silver glitter, this is optional, and you're going to need purple, teal, and blue food coloring. Now, if you don't have these colors, you can make your Galaxy Play-Doh whatever colors you want. I just happen to have these three colors, which are what they ask for. Okay? They actually ask for turquoise instead of teal, but they're close enough. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to mix the first 5 ingredients into a saucepan. Okay? So, that would be the flour, the water, the salt, the oil, and the cream of tartar. Okay, so and the pan is on medium-high heat. Okay, so I already have the water measured out. Yeah. So I'm going to put that one in first. Alright, now I'm going to need 3 cups of flour. Okay, so I have my big old 1 cup measuring utensil. Alright. And then you want to try and make these level, and you can do that with your finger. If you're baking something, you might actually want to use something like the edge of a spatula to make it level. So there's 1. And 2. And number 3. Okay, and it's not perfect, and that's okay. And 3. Alright, so there's my flour. I'll cover it back up. And then I already measured out the salt. Okay, so this is 1.5 cups of salt. Alright. Now I need 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And then 3 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Alright, and then 3 teaspoons of cream of tartar. This may take a little bit, because it doesn't want to stay open all of the way. Alright, so, and it doesn't have to be exact, because we're not actually making anything to eat. So there's 1, there's 2, and we're going to call that 3. Alright, and there went purple. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this together, okay, and my pan is on medium-high heat, so I'm going to mix it together until it starts to clump together, right, and until it thickens, which it'll be pretty thick because it's got a lot of flour in it already, but it's still going to thicken as it gets warm, because that's just kind of what flour and water do when they get mixed together. Okay, we're going to try and break up some of the clumps, because they're probably just dry flour clumps. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video. That way you don't have to just watch me stir the mixture. And I will bring it back up when it's pretty thick. Alright guys, so it has definitely thickened quite a bit. It is sticking to the sides. Now it's not completely thick, but as you can see I switched to a rubber spoon compared to my spatula. A wooden spoon compared to my rubber scraper, my spatula. just because it is definitely thick. It is hard to mix, and it is definitely like clumping at the bottom, and sticking at the bottom and on the edges, around the bottom. So I'm thinking it's almost done. I did turn the heat down a little bit. That way, I had a little bit more control over it, because I was starting to notice that it was sticking to the bottom and I wasn't actually stirring what was sticking. So now I'm just going to turn it off. Because I have an electric stove, it is still hot underneath, it is still cooking underneath. However, I also feel as though this Play-Doh is pretty done, and then I can knead it with my hands, mix it with my hands, until it is completely done. Okay? So, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move my instructions, and my scraper, and I'm going to dump this cooked dough out onto my cutting board. Okay, now I have to be careful with the cutting board because I have a hot burner on the stove. So I just have to be careful as to how close I get my cutting board to that burner. Okay, heavy pan. So we're going to tilt it this way, scrape it out onto the cutting board. Okay, and now that's really hot, and so I don't know that I really want to touch it right away. I'm going to let it cool down just a little bit. And I'm also going to put on some gloves. Okay? What these gloves will do is, since I'm going to be mixing in the food coloring after with my hands, these gloves are going to protect my hands from getting all colored with the food coloring. Okay? So, gloves are on. Food coloring is ready. I put it on the other side of the cutting board so that we didn't accidentally end up on the hot burner. Alright. So, we're just going to kind of scrape off as much as we can, just because I want, I want there to be as much as I can over here. Also going to take off my watch. Alright. So now I'm just going to mix it together, and it is still really rather warm. So I'm going to touch it as little as I can. Some people have a higher heat tolerance. They can handle the heat of the Play-Doh a little bit better than others. So parents, as you need this, because parents will be needing it, just be aware of how warm it has become. Because it was cooking. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it into thirds. So it is still really rather warm. And that's okay. That is what it is. Alright, so I'm going to split it into thirds. And I'm going to mix in the colors. Okay? And they aren't going to be even. I can guarantee that. And that's okay too. So, this first piece, I'm going to make it purple. Keep forgetting that the camera is down here. Okay? So I'm going to make a little hole in my dough. Not all the way through. And I'm going to put a couple drops. Oh, it's gel. I forgot it was gel. So a little squeeze in of the purple. And now I'm literally just going to fold it over and mix all of that in. Okay, it'll come through. There it is. Okay, and I'm gonna just mix it around, Alright, and once again, I think I'm gonna need to add a little bit more purple, because it's not really going through like I thought it would. Alright, so we're gonna add some more purple. Alright. And then I'm going to pause the video so that way you don't have to watch me mix all of the colors together, okay? Alright, that's looking better. That is looking more purple. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video and keep mixing colors, and I will come back once it's all mixed together. Alright guys, so now I have all three colors. I will tell you that the liquid blue food coloring did not give me the color that I wanted, so I added a little bit of dark blue. But I have all three colors now. And what you're going to do is you're going to take them and you're going to mix them together. Okay, you don't want to blend them all together to make one color, but you want to mix them together to create your galaxy. Okay, so I'm literally going to take a chunk of blue, a chunk of purple, and a chunk of turquoise, teal, and just kind of squish those and mix those. Okay, and then I'm going to do it again. Because this way, for me, in my thoughts, is now I have three piles of the three colors. So I can save a couple piles for later if this becomes one giant glob of probably brown. Then I can mix it together later. Okay? And actually, another thing you want to do is add in your glitter. Okay? If you got gold stars, you can add them in now as well. I do not have stars here. I have stars at school. I forgot them. But I'm going to add in some glitter. It's going to be slippery and slimy. And I'm going to mix it together. Okay, and try and kind of get that glitter throughout. And I was kind of thinking maybe I should have mixed glitter in with each color. So maybe that would work better. So I have a little bit of glitter. So actually what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to mix some glitter in with each color and see what that does. Okay? So, because I don't have to worry about over mixing it if it's just one color. And I think we're going to need a lot of glitter for this to let it stand out in the colors themselves. Okay? So if you don't want to use the glitter, don't worry about it, because it's really not showing through. If you have those stars would be great. Those stars are really going to show through. Okay? Whereas the glitter doesn't really show through as well as one would hope. So there is your galaxy Play-Doh. This one actually has some glitter in it. So here's your galaxy Play-Doh. You can see all the colors. And then, like I said, save a set for later. So that way, you can play with it later. And I hope you guys enjoy being able to make the Play-Doh, squishing the Play-Doh. Because actually, this is very squishable Play-Doh. And at this point in time, it is not super hot. It still could be a little warm, but nothing that's going to hurt anybody. And it kind of feels good. So, I hope you guys are able to make it and able to squish it and feel it. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.